Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the fourth edition of the Hempy Hour.
Yeah.
I am Gina, Mama Epps.
I'm Lois Carter.
Together, we are the Hemp Sisters. Going way back, way back. Okay, today, guys, we've talked about a lot of stuff. We've talked about ourselves. We want you guys to get to know us a little bit.
Boy, did we tell you.
Yeah, last week you really knew us. So this week, a little more upbeat. Again, still going to be ourselves. You're never getting rid of us for there. But wanted to dive into social media.
Oh yeah, don't you love it?
Media. We all have different experiences here, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's pleasure, whatever you might be doing, we're delving into it.
Yeah, I mean, it all started out as pleasure, and now it's become a political. Yeah, I mean,
clusterfuck.
Clusterfuck. You know, when I'm losing a word, you pull right in for it. That's what that is. It's a clusterfuck.
Okay.
We started with, taking images of our food. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, you weren't just eating, and enjoying what you eat.
We didn't argue about that, but we found a way. We found a way to fight.
Because what if you're not vegan? All right, where are we?
Opinions, and we're sorry.
Let's go back to where it all began, because you know more than I do about that. MySpace.
Yeah, that was my first entrance.
It's gonna be 15 plus years.
Well, I can tell you I was working at the Holiday Inn, and so it had to have been 2005 or 6, maybe even 7. When
16?
Wow. It probably already was doing. We were probably already like on that. It was already going, but like I was fighting like whoa, I'm like in my 20s. Why would I be doing that? And a girl that I used to work with.
I remember thinking like you were speaking Chinese. Like,
yeah.
You're talking to a bunch of random MFers on,
No, right?
Huh?
Right.
Don't do that.
No, I did do it. And, so MySpace, of course, was like, at the time, it was more of a place where you can profile yourself, play music, and really just introduce yourself to like playing with the internet in that particular way, reaching, connecting with people. That I got talked into it from a younger girl at work, and she's like, you got to do it. And then she helped me build my profile. And then I got, stuck in that, playing music and like uploading my own musical videos, whatever it might have been,
creative.
Yeah. I met somebody, and
Father of your child?
Father of my child, yeah.
You had that one you spoke.
Yeah, this is how that started. It was a message. It was just for that day. I have a blessing that'll keep me for the rest of my life, my daughter. But it started with just a conversation of, I could never date you because your name is Lois Mary, and that was his mother and his grandmother's name, Lois and Mary.
What he meant is I'll marry you one day.
And then destroy your life later.
What you wish for? Okay, so MySpace. We have a team member.
We do.
That just so happens to be the co-founder of MySpace.
Really wild that you find that out,
20, almost, right, 15 plus years later, okay? And Chuck's an amazing man. Like what he's done for us, for our team, for the world, really, with getting the internet started and getting social media started. Right. So us having a tie to that's cool.
Right. We were just recently talking about that with him, and he was talking about how when they were doing this, they were more afraid of it becoming kind of a porn situation.
Yes, how they. So he's completely against censorship. Was like back then you had to be careful.
Right. What are people going to do with this gift that we've given them? Right. And we've seen that play out in multiple ways. Right.
Run amok.
Yeah, run amok, and then tell you how they feel about it.
Right. 12 different ways. Okay, MySpace. So MySpace, I remember being at your apartment. Like I remember you showing me like this MySpace. Like what is this? And I still no clue. I mean, looking at it, no clue. Like what is this?
I mean, I can't even tell you what the functionality of it in retrospect was, because it wasn't like that where you have now Facebook. It's like real time. I mean, you had real time functionality there, but this was also when like we were hitting up with LimeWire and getting the ability to like download songs and and that whole in-between line of piracy, you know, like all of these things. I mean, just technology is moving so fast. And again, something that starts off as a way to group people together, you know, what do we do with that?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a social experiment, really, you know?
Yeah, and okay, so that was, gosh, like you said, like 2005 or so. So it still took me like 5 or 6 years.
No,
I really fight shit, guys. I really, really fight shit. TikTok yesterday, you know what I mean? Like anyway, like Lois has her hands full with me. She really does.
but look at you with TikTok even. Like it's so, you know, new to you, and you're just like, your mind's starting to get, and that's what these apps do. You know, you're a good example of that, because you're not somebody that, like, you know, wants to digitize things. You know, you want to learn about it. It, you know, even for me, it's like a frustrating or anxiety type of situation.
Right.
But some platforms give you the tools, and then you start to make these, you know, fine motor skills, you know, things, and they create, you know, and there's something just so beautiful about art. I don't care, you know, we can argue about what people are doing in the end, you know, product, but again, just we're like removing art from school, we're removing free thought from all of these places, and these are like places to express yourself and let your no, they are, unless you don't have a popular opinion,
right? Which we don't always. Or almost
never, right?
But what I will say about us is that we open our minds. We are open to alternative ways of thinking, whatever that might entail. And then you do your own research and you figure out what you think or what you don't think or what's good for you. You know, we're not here to tell you anything, but do your own research.
You really have you really have to keep the open mind and the do your own research part too. You know, Jay and I talk about this a lot. We grew up in a world where, you know, authorities, it was visually defined for us. You know, the person that walked into the office with the lab coat was a vision of authority. Our parents, the teachers in our life, I mean, any adult, you know, that had some type of education behind them, you know, we classify them in a different place. And you have to be mindful that these people are also humans, right? And they also are part of authority type figures as well. And
they really only know whatever they were taught in those books at that school for said agenda. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you're a good example because you did have a formal education. So you understand the, you know, opinion and studies and things become part of your life. And the problem is that we can't always go back to each other being rude and arrogant when people want to question those things. And that is, I think, what we're seeing right now through social media and stuff is, you know, we're all becoming an authority on something. And we have a real strong opinion of who should be holding those types of titles. And really the simplest answer is don't silence people that want to have questions, regardless of what your personal opinion is on it.
100% agree. 100%. You know,
again, you're either changing minds or you're looking to seek truth. You know, so there's two positions there, and you really, I think it was Tyler Degrassi, the scientist. You know, he says, "I'm smart enough to know that I don't, you know, have all the right questions. You know, and that's important. You don't. You know, keep looking for it.
Keep asking, and keep looking." All right, which that kind of brings us back again to social media. So now, you know, we get through our little MySpace phase, and I fought it the whole way. So we get to Facebook. Facebook. I need a deep breath for Facebook. Right. Facebook they've done some stuff to me. They really have. Anyway, Facebook, so probably around 2010. I don't know. I got on Facebook. I think, were you already on Facebook?
I had just moved to Aurora, and I had one, again, the same person that got me into the MySpace thing, and then eventually I got into that.
Okay.
And you were on there, but you weren't on there.
Like, doing much.
You were like you had a profile.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So when I started really getting more active was when I started getting more vocal about hemp and cannabis and this plant. And, you know, so then I had an educational platform. So then I started really focusing on building my network and, you know, trying to educate people and bringing that even to the school where I taught, you know, health, and you guys have heard that story. That didn't end well, but, you know, that's where it all began. So I spent, 10 years on Facebook building a huge network of, you know, supportive advocates and activists and people who just wanted to learn about this plant, whether it was medicine or food or recreation. And
Well, I mean, being that the idea of Facebook started off to be a community where, you know, your peers actually were I don't want to say they were the judge of you, but this is what that was. There were some levels of Big Brother in that. But again, I don't think they even quite understood what kind of subject matter would be coming to this platform.
Right.
When it started off like connected friends and family, like, you know, like more in a like, take a picture of your food, your kids, share these things. And, you know, I don't think even in the infancy of that, they even understood what that would bring. And so what we've seen over 10 years, and like you said, you grew a beautiful network of people having conversations. The problem that happened in those conversations that people start talking in ways that started to contradict, you know, pharmaceutical stuff. So that, you know what I'm saying? So then it's, again, it's the, let's stop these conversations publicly, because again, we can't trust you to read that and, you know, discern, you know, did that person tell me I could cure my cancer like this? You know what I'm saying? They, instead of just working that conversation out, you know, and making the conversation something where people can actually have a conversation, you know, they really just went the opposite way, you know.
Well, where they upped their censorship game, like where it used to just be like, you know, this post is inappropriate and we'll take it down or whatever. Then it went to like, you're in jail for a day, and then 7 days, and then a month, and then, you know, your business page is shut down, and then your post is flagged for being, you know, like,
look at that, like
people are seeing like you're some crazy person giving false information because Joe Facebook is all of a sudden a fact checker in his basement. Like,
look at how that escalated. You get flagged for not abiding to community standards, and you had a community page of cannabis users. Right. So
very high standards.
With very high standards, right? Looking for questions because they're, again, they're having their own censorship issues with their state, their government, you know, and really trying to talk about things they're doing with their children, things they're doing with their family, and having, again, important conversations. So we're violating community standards because, you know, even though your community, your group is people that actively wanted to join, it's a private group. People that to go in there, they're seeking conversations. There's no maybe that's part of it too, you know. So it's, again, so what community, you know, like if it's supposed to be about me connecting with people that have like-minded vision or thought processes, why are you here?
Right.
You know, so we can, you know, again, I'll play devil's advocate. You know, there are reasons why these platforms start to commit and, you know, bend backwards to appease our government in certain ways and their shareholders. You know what I mean? So again, we're on Facebook for them to make money off of us. Do not ever get that confused. Any of these platforms, there's a financial benefit here. And, you know, if you're speaking against those people that are putting money into it, you don't have much to say anymore. Right. You know, you've been silenced for pictures with no context.
Right. Not a word, just like a picture of a flower or a picture of a vape pen. I mean, like, literally.
Yeah,
I would hold up, and not even myself, just the vape pen in a story, and banned from Facebook for 30 days because I had the nerve to put a vape pen in my story.
Right.
You know,
you got pushed down. I mean, 30-something thousand, 40, 50,000 collaboratively through other groups that we have, and you know,
my personal page, I was maxed out at 5,000. I had another like 5,000 followers, and like 3,000 of them disappeared overnight. And I'm getting all these messages like, you know, what's going on? Why'd you disconnect us? Or why can't I talk to you? Why can't I message you anymore? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I had no idea. So, you know, there's this huge group of people thinking I'm just some asshole that was, you know, full of shit for the last handful of years, when like my heart was at the bottom of trying to educate people on this plant that can make the world a better place.
And you were severed those connections, you know, and every attempt to get back to do that, you've lost power of reach, right?
Every time you stand up, they're taking you out of the knees.
You're you know, there's no reason that when you having 30,000 people now after your most recent ban, you put up something, you know, something even not even controversial, you know, to have 2 or 3 likes on something. Nobody's seeing that message anymore.
Right. No, that's a good point too. I'm completely blocked. My content's completely blocked.
Yeah, like, you know, we all have, like, me and both 5,000 connections, and, you know, nobody's seeing any of that. You know, so
I kind of removed myself from Facebook in January. So I haven't really been back on there in over 2 months. And I did a little farewell video, and it was hard, we joked and laughed a little, but like, it's just not cool. It's not cool because these people that you feel like you had a connection with, like, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't know them in real life, or they're not your neighbor and you're not going out for a beer on the weekend, but you have a connection with these people. Like, humans feel connection, and to have that taken away, it's not cool.
I don't think a majority of the people that are in our community, like the things that you've created and we've babied, I don't think they understand. They don't have these experiences because they might just be using it for other things in their life. So people that resonated with what you were going through on that like epic goodbye Facebook message, you know what I mean? Like, they're going through the same thing. They are being shut down. They are, again, so what is it doing? It's forcing us to move to other platforms, right?
That's
and then, right. So, to be clear, you're getting forced to other platforms that themselves are now being held under fire for being these alternative cuckoo conspirator places.
Right.
When what you don't understand is that, because you and I have been in a lot of these platforms, and we are seeking, messages and opinions, and we want to have a place to have our own, without somebody telling another human being what they should or shouldn't watch or have access to. So you have to deal with that. These are private. This is the argument. Right? These are private companies. They can do what they want. Yeah, sure. Let's define it as it is. So that means I can go somewhere else in people that are accepting of my message then, right?
Right.
That does not automatically cuckooville you or put tinfoil in your hat. Again, we have a message of, healing and love, and we can't even share that on our platforms, right? So, because, again, they've judged that to be incorrect information or, harmful in some way, but
and that's literally by asking questions. That's not saying like I believe A and you should believe A, and if you believe B, you're out of your mind. I mean, like literally a question to have someone spark something in themselves and look it up and research it themselves, and even that's being shut down, like, because they don't want you thinking. They don't want us thinking for themselves. They want to feed you what they want to feed you. You drink it all in and be a good little American soldier. Like it's all too much. It's too much.
I always, this is like one of the things we always laugh about with me is like I'm always trying to, like, even somebody that's so flat out like A, B, C, D, and I'm always like, well, what about, like I never really G, but not in a cocky way. Like I'm like I can only
like you genuinely want to understand some of these crazy motherfuckers. Like,
right. I generally want to see both sides of something because again, I'm seeking truth. So I have to be cognitive that what I might be seeing or hearing might not be that, and vice versa. So the problem is that, I stepped away a little bit before you for like 2 months, like somewhere in the beginning of coronavirus. Like my mental health was like too much because you're part of it is you've got people that you've been engaging with online for a decade, and then they just turned into these
mask versus no mask, home versus outside, like, but everyone's fighting over
everybody
everything.
Had a degree, everybody had, it was, so this is where what started happening with me and you. It's like we couldn't even, we're trying to hold a professional lens, trying to hold, again, while we're here to ask these questions and stuff. And the Chicago legs of us, like, we had to step out because we just, at some point,
it's hard. You know us, you guys know us by now. Like, we're passionate, and when we believe something and you wholeheartedly believe it, not even just believe it, you know it's true. I mean, I lived that life in Washington. I watched people that were supposed to be dead walk out of hospice and live their life. I saw that. Do you think I was just going to shut the fuck up about it? The bigger the platform, the more people I was telling, and I would give them exactly the regimen and exactly what these people did and exactly what they did for their babies. And all of a sudden I'm the devil for trying to get anybody to just research something outside of pharmaceuticals and chemotherapy. And again, we're never saying we're against it. Like, everyone's different. What I do for myself and my family is different than what you do for yourself and your family. But for the love of God, look into it. Look into all of it. all of it.
So if you interpret that as hazardous, or people that are just unhinged from society, we beg that you maybe take another view of that, because again, life is about experiences, and once you have experiences, you don't undo them. You know what I mean?
There's unknown stuff.
You can't unknow stuff, right? You can incorporate it into other things around you to start making better decisions for you. For your body, your health, your life, because we are not molded people. We have different physiologies. We have different environments. Our habitats are different. Not everything works. And if you don't believe me, go to your neighbor's house and just start downloading whatever's in his medicine cabinet, That's not how it works, So, yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I don't think we're really quite sure what's going to happen. We started working with the Facebook group again to see what we can salvage from that.
Right.
And that's really sad, because, it's a lot of people, our messages are constantly going. They don't see things from us. They don't, it's really bothersome.
The ones that didn't get to see the farewell post or the final post or whatever, just think that we're gone, or, that, they pretended to care, whatever goes through people's minds when there's an agenda at play, and it's not a good feeling. So I kind of migrated more over to LinkedIn, and I had been on LinkedIn for a few years, but I hadn't been doing a lot with it. I'd pop in here and there because, Facebook was my thing. I had all these people on Facebook, and, in my mind, that's where my energy had to be, because that's where all these people were. And then, the frustration just got worse and worse. So I really started putting time and effort into LinkedIn. And my gosh, what has come from that? Like, what a completely different experience, guys.
Different kind of conversation.
Oh my gosh. Actual conversations. I mean, you nailed it right there. Conversations.
The same type of thing that we were trying to create within our other social media platforms, not the definitive answer of anything, a doorway to knowledge. I mean, Gina and I would spend days, if not hours, if people had questions, and again, we're not doctors, finding them resources that their doctor would appreciate, so that they wanted to have these conversations with their doctor, that they weren't bringing them, the New York Times headline article, that they were actually bringing in, things that a doctor would look at and review and scrutinize under a medical lens. We have seen so much change, though. You're talking in 10 years of how much has changed. Where now Facebook is really just more concerned about stopping those types of connections, right? Severing those types of connections. So, selling things or whatever.
Don't talk about plans.
Yeah, I mean,
don't talk about Trump. Don't talk about vaccines. There's a handful of things that if you say a word, good or bad or otherwise, you're done. Like, you're done.
Right. They're trigger words, and again, the goal isn't to open communication. It is to only and to move very specific narratives. We don't have to talk about motive today, but there obviously is.
Oh, sure.
Otherwise, it wouldn't look like this.
Right. But and what we think we know, I can't even imagine we're scratching the surface of the depth of it. We've always joked about the rabbit hole being bottomless, but we're talking.
No, we've been Alice in it for a minute. Wow. For sure. But yeah, LinkedIn has, we've had this network. Gina had a very large network, and it really was, how do you utilize that? How do you, we have businesses and jobs, and we have these things, but we're also harboring relationships, professional relationships, and that has a lot to do with what you find in common and how you strategize or make use of your resources. And there's my experience, because I'm really not on our business, I'm really not in the back end of the social media stuff. Like, I truly still look at it like something to personal time, yeah. Again, like, because of the kind of conversations I'm seeking, about life and improving my life through other people and learning from them. So I don't have a lot of pull there, but it's been interesting to see, even a small attempt at doing that, how beneficial that's been for me.
Good.
So with your leadership, of course, you're welcome.
Yeah, LinkedIn has been a pleasant surprise, and I would say I delved in much deeper during the pandemic, like late summer, started doing a little more, started maybe not daily, but a few times a week or whatever. And then by holidays is when I joined the Growth Academy, and that's a program through LinkedIn. And so I really got to kind of learn what is involved in growing your network. It's not just, you know, sending a request to every Joe Blow on the planet. It's posting daily, and it's not just your post, it's interacting on other people's posts, and it's connecting to those people who you want to be as part of your community, and talking to them every day, and commenting and liking and sharing, and, you know, just being more active and being more sending that positive vibe. Where on Facebook, you know, you put a positive video and you're feeling good, and they're like telling you to F off by the end of it, and you're like,
yeah, I see you're feeling good today, but I saw this post from 3 years ago and you were really this
day that day, so you're a liar, fuck you, you know, like, you know what I mean? It's so,
it's how it is. It's really,
it's toxic, and they want you down to their level, and we got to rise above. And I've really found that on LinkedIn, and it's positive, and it's community, and it's networking, and the people are amazing, and they're so supportive, and they want to learn. So not only are my hemp and cannabis educational posts not taken down, one has gone viral on LinkedIn, top 1% of an 800 million person platform. Now we're reaching people, and we're reaching the right people. These are not the, you know, average cannabis people who just might not know everything but want to learn a little. This is the average person on the planet who knows next to nothing about this plant, but is dying to learn more because they're hearing about it. And, you know, gosh, I didn't know I could use CBD for anxiety and stress. And then not only can we do that, but this plant can potentially get rid of plastic and change paper and, you know, get rid of cotton and linen, and, you know what I mean? It's endless.
Well, that begs the question again, what is the harm with those conversations? You know, they're just not. And, you know, people that,
well, you said it, big pharma, big tobacco, you know.
Right. You know, in LinkedIn, what you get from your peers is that, you know, you're putting up something about hemp plastic. And if nobody's reacting to that, then you have a measurement of, is this of interest, you know? You can look at it two ways. It means people already know that, and they're like, I already read about that, you know, or they don't have an interest in that, you know, but not having it there, and there's absolutely nothing, right?
Right, and having specific analytics. You know, I have this Shield account attached to my LinkedIn, and you see everything. So you need everyone that's engaged, and when they engaged, and why they engaged, and how they engaged, and where you want to be then that following day, or that next message, or, you know, whether that's an inspirational post in the morning and then a hemp post in the afternoon, or, you know what I mean? You got to mix it up and figure it out. But the algorithm on LinkedIn is legit, guys. So, I mean, if you want to put some time into LinkedIn, then not killing yourself, but, you know, throw a post up a day and spend 20, 30, 50, an hour, spend some time on there every day and start interacting with other people and see the difference it makes, because people want to know about your business there. They're not telling you to mind your business.
Well, I think it has more of a, you know, treat others as if you want to be treated type of feel, you know what I mean? So, you know, of course, just like all platforms, one of the things I noticed right away is that, you know, the conversations weren't pushy.
Right.
Okay. So, right, this is a platform where you're talking about your business, your services, whatever it might be. But, you know, in other arenas that becomes, you know, just, again, you feel like you're somebody to take money out of your pocket, where I don't feel that there. I feel the need to, like, you know what, this is what I do in my business, and this is what you do in your business. And I think that whether it be us doing something together or having these types of conversations, like, you should probably know about something like this.
Yeah, and there's not that competition. Or if you try to do that on Facebook, or, you know, maybe even Instagram, I'm not sure, but definitely on Facebook, there's the automatic, like, defense, like, well, I sell CBD too, or something, when you're like, yeah, everyone does now, but you know what I mean? We're all in this together, and let's help each other, and let's see what we can do for each other. And that's our mentality. You know, there's no competition. There's plenty for everybody. And the competition should be making sure everybody else knows what's going on. That should be where we're competing.
Or, you know, Facebook with one end trying to protect people from the conversations, you know, really put a stint in an entrepreneur's, you know, thing. See, most of the time, you know, you have a business and you get to prove your worth as a business owner, and you get to build your brand, and you get to do all of these things. And then, you know, your consumer base is the judge of your success or your failure. Right. You know, cut on your elevator pitch is a really hard avenue to work. So you have to walk away. If you're starting your cannabis related or any type of product that falls in the nutraceutical type lane, do not turn your Facebook in a place to sell your product, right? Even if you go the latter and, you know, try to do more of an educational post, be prepared for that. Don't put all of your eggs in a Facebook basket. Because unfortunately,
They'll cut the bottom out of that basket real quick.
Right, and resources. So keep it, my suggestion, probably yours too. You know, if you have an audience in that particular arena, keep them happy with what you're doing in your life and what your company's doing. You know, whether it be, again, find a lane of motivation, inspiration, and don't draw attention to yourself in the way of like what you're going to do for them with these hot button issues like your cancer or these other types of discussions. Have them, but don't have them in a way where they, you know, are gonna start shutting you down.
Right.
You know?
And LinkedIn, I mean, again, there's metrics for LinkedIn. You can find any of this information out. You're 400 times more likely to get a sale on LinkedIn as opposed to Facebook. You know, and again, LinkedIn is not all sales, sales, sales. It's brand in the front and business in the back. That's gonna happen in your DMs, on your phone calls, on your Zooms, on your get to know people. It's going to happen. It's going to happen quick, and you don't know where it's going to come from. So you have to be open to people, be open to opportunity, talk to people, and see where it goes. You have nothing to lose, and who knows what you have to gain.
Wise words.
Thank you. I'm old.
I feel like we have not connected this week. I had a weird week.
Yeah, she had a crazy tooth. Can't connect with crazy teeth. You know. Chipmunk all week. All right, so Facebook, LinkedIn, what else? Instagram. I had an Instagram account with over 5,000 followers and shut it down without thinking twice because I didn't get it, guys. I was like, I can't see another fucking selfie. Like, I'm over it. Over it. We all get it. You're beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. Like, you know, like I couldn't handle it. So I was.
Yeah, to me too.
I do. Like, how many pictures of yourself do you need? You know what I mean? Like, you know what you look like. I just didn't get it. But now I'll reopen, started from scratch, you know, like a year or so ago, reopened a Hemp Sisters Instagram, and I get it. You got to brand yourself, you know, you got to be a personal brand if you want to be a business brand, and you got to get your ass out there. Maybe not your literal ass, because you see a lot of that too. I don't know how necessary that is, but you know, everyone's different. So, you know, maybe some literal ass will help you, some literal titties will help you, but you know what I mean? That's Instagram. That's never going to be LinkedIn, and that's okay because there's something for everybody. So I was closed-minded to Instagram, and I do not suggest that you be closed-minded to anything, let alone social media, because everything has its place. And now Instagram's attached to Clubhouse, you know, like.
Oh, yeah. And I found myself, because I use these things more in a, you know, social, you know, myself kind of way, you know, so I'm always conscious of what am I clicking on and what am I looking at, you know, what's drawing my attention. And it's people that are, you know, sharing their lives with you. You know, we're constantly looking to relate to people or, you know, feel included in something, no matter what it is. And we don't have to strip down legislations to do that. Or, you know, there are people to connect with. And again, that's a good tool for that, you know, in helping you, you know, I look at tutorials, I mean, whatever it might be. But usually the way that these people that really focus in on Instagram, these visual formats like TikTok and things like that, they're bringing you into their life. And that's what they're the brand. So it's, you know, you're just enjoying that, you know, it's bringing some type of I don't want to say a false connection, but again, things that you find, you know, look at yourself and you find in other people. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah. And I definitely get it more. I get it more. And I'm trying to be more open to it. Twitter, again, I shut down my Twitter it's like five years or something, you know, but reactivated that, you know, because again, Twitter and Instagram's attached to Clubhouse. Clubhouse, some of you may or may not know about. It's only through Apple, which we literally got via an iPad for the business, so we can do Clubhouse and really just see what it's like and what it's all about. And
I like it.
It's really different. I'm still. It's been about a month. I'm still trying to figure it out. A few hundred followers, following more people than that are following me, just so I can try and figure it out. There's rooms and you get to talk on stage and there's moderators who talk about specific things. Some stuff are really cool. I've been in a couple LinkedIn rooms that were very helpful to me.
Yeah.
But then you get in a couple like just grow your network and you don't really know what that means. You're in there and everyone's quiet, but there's like hundreds of people and it's confusing. Like, so you gotta read through the book.
Yeah, and some in our space, I've seen some leaders through other social media platforms promoting that. So I think Clubhouse, possibly a large portion of people that are doing that are already kind of in that come listen to me talk kind of lane in their outside of Clubhouse. So if I throw out A, B, and C's name, like, you know, you've heard them talk before, and now you're going to go listen to them here.
Right.
So I think if you, you know, if you have, even if you have a small body of audience like that, good place to start so that they can start connecting you to other people that want to hear, that have not heard you or been exposed to you.
Very
Probably is a little bit more harder if you don't have an audience in any way to walk in that platform and have people come to your room and listen to what you have to say.
Right. Yeah, like how do you even find those people? Who are those people? Like it's confusing.
Right. No, I mean, yeah.
It has unlimited potential, and for me, untapped potential, because I don't know enough about it yet. But I'm still trying to learn. But again, like there's only so many hours in a day. Like how am I on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and like oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind, guys.
Well, right. There's not a lot of instruction. Again, these companies sell their services and these apps, you know, to come and network with people. So you really have to understand functionality of it, and then you have to put a plan towards it. What am I going to use this for? What's my plan? What's my target? What am I doing in here? And what's the metric? What am I trying to get back from it? You know, if you're just wanting to expand your network, and that's probably a good thing, going to rooms with people that you want to listen to, connecting to people that are, you know, engaging within that audience, and then seeing what they're up to. But again, yeah, it's really a lot, you know. I'm curious to see how that plays out over the next few months, because it is fairly new.
Right. And I know they're still in beta, so you know it's going to be opening up to Android, and then
I saw that.
Maybe a different experience. You know what I mean? And then, you know, maybe that's what's missing right now. Like only half people can be on there or something. So
just kinds of people in this world, people that love Apple, that don't.
Yeah, and I think there's 3 kinds, because I didn't even know anything about Apple, and now I have an iPad, and still is confusing to me. Like it's cool, I like it. The speaker's really nice. Like the music's phenomenal, but
when I saw you play with theirs, like I've been wrong for many years, but you know.
Yeah, like it does some cool stuff, but yeah, I mean, would I wait in line for a day or 2 to get a new Apple? Never. So I don't, but I'm sure there's plenty that would. I don't know. You know what I wanted to ask you? Because like you said, like I handle a lot of the social media, like out there in social media land, but you handle a lot of the behind the scenes website shit, hooking the website up to social media, making sure the metrics from social media to the website. Like maybe we can talk about that for a minute, because that is another language to me. Like that's way as far over my head as you can see.
Right. So, you know, again, it's United Entrepreneurs. And we started this with our business with bringing passions of what we do. Well, one entire leg of our business is a non-monetary business. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So we've been very frugal with our resources, and how do we, you know, utilize the tools at hand that we don't necessarily have a full, you know, education on, or, you know, and how do we pair this up? And we do, you know, the behind the scenes website stuff. I mean, I've learned, I'm a self-teacher in so many things. I've learned so much. Well, and I have the right mindset, because I want to keep dragging it in, you know, the knowledge of it.
Grabbing the screen and breaking it over to your knee.
Second house. Okay. It only works with cars and hammers. Well, before we go into that, but like, you've really come a long way, because there's, you know, from, I mean, again, if
my Happy Gilmore moments.
Yeah, you know, I mean, because you've had a few, you know, and I just want to cry in a ball.
That's true.
You know, but again, it just shows the challenges of, like, you know, people like, we're Gen X, right? Like being totally like stuck in a digital world, like where we have the great ideas, but we don't understand how to like connect them, and we don't have, you know, we're not going to throw 75 G's down for somebody to do that for us. We're going to learn about it.
Do it yourself.
With it until, you know, until we need to tap out, right? So, I mean, you know, we do the podcast, right? So we're utilizing tools to record, you know, what we're doing right now. And then I, you know, learned about editing programs and getting, you know, what is our desired end result supposed to look like, and then working on that, and then finding, you know, cost-conscious solutions to help us just get to the end video, using places like, you know, YouTube to upload them to, so that we can have a greater reach. We can, most platforms like websites, they want to see these types of links in there. They make it more user-friendly to do that. We've been doing a lot of video editing with uploading the videos into our new, we had to change, you know, domain hosts and things, because one of our products, you know, and what we can do and what we can't do, you know, we still can't actually sell cannabis products. You know, so one of my bigger challenges over the last year or so has really been trying to secure that. Gene and I, a couple of years ago, even, you know, faced problems with getting regular banking. We couldn't have a business account. You know, we had literally moved our business to a state that was more hemp friendly. And then we have restrictions with that even, you know, there's no merchant processing for that. You know, I think in all my frustrations, they're really to stem from, you know, not the ability to be able to do this, put a video out there, getting to that next bump of I can't even share it to certain networks. I can't do certain things with it, you know. And again, you know, we can argue about it if that's fair or not, you know, but how about we look at the message of what we're trying to do and then judge it accordingly, you know? So, I mean, so no matter what we've done to, you know, overcome.
Stop being judgmental fucks. One time.
Or, you know what, just like move on, right? Carry on. So we have, you know, I don't know how do we want to get into it? But again, you know, I think that we still continue to find ways to move around that, you know, and that's what we've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years, moving around that. Right. I mean, please tell us that we can't do something. Oh, you know, I mean, we're still in, you know, International Women's Month. Like, please tell us that we can't find a way here. Well,
my head is all day, every day for like at least like 30.
She had to tell me it was like international. I had to find out from like a post, like, oh, just a Tuesday, got it.
One Tuesday.
You know, homeschooling over here and digitaling this, and, you know, building a network and running a businesses, you know, right. And being supportive for other businesses. Right. You know, I come with no technical education for these things, and people come to me for me to help them for these things.
Right. Consistently.
You know what I mean? So whether it's not because I have these amazing skills at it. I mean, I have some skill. But again, I understand the pain, so I'm easier to work with, you know, and I like keeping things simple in a lot of ways when it comes to, you know, helping other people. You know, I have a hospitality heart, so I'm always like anticipating needs. So, you know, I could wow you with many little things that more people wouldn't get wowed with.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
All right. So from MySpace all the way, what have we not hit? TikTok, we talked about for a second.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That's very new to us. Like literally the last 24 hours, we're like, you know what? Fuck it, they got us. We fought it for years, but however long it's been here, we've been fighting it. Let's just give it a whirl.
Right. You know, I think quite frankly, I think what's at the heart of that is that, you know, Gene and I, you know, have like the coolest relationship, you know, and we have, our humor is just sick and fun. And I think that we, you know, we have really been tied into the house, as everybody has been the last couple of years. Our experiences are like, you know, laughable. You know, we're homeschooling, we're doing all these things, we're running from our house, and our life situation. I think TikTok's gonna be a really fun way for us to like,
blow off a little steam and take a few minutes a day to smile and laugh, and because that's what's kept us going our entire lives. And I don't know why I'm fighting smiling and laughing. What the hell kind of person does that?
No, we do it behind the scenes. So
you know, I was afraid it would like consume my soul. Like I'd get on there for 5 minutes and be like, oh my God, I'm addicted to TikTok. Lois, help me, I need help. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I can't hear you on TikTok. You know, so like I have to figure out how to balance that, how to, you know, have fun and laugh and do stuff together, and then get back to business and be serious and, you know, inspire everybody. You know, there's so many different hats. Oh yeah, and be a mom and be a wife and homeschool and run businesses, and, you know, it's a lot and it's every day, but.
Right. No, I like the lens. And also we're always so conscious of like what we present ourselves, you know, to other people. Because again, we all come with our own biases and our own taboos, and we all look at the world in our own way, you know. So how you felt a long time ago with Instagram, like, oh, these fucking selfies, you know.
And now I'm like putting makeup on and taking selfies, and I'm like, God damn it, now I'm one of that. I'm one of you people, like, yeah, like, you know. But I get it. You know, you got to put yourself out there. You know, if you want it in return, you got to put yourself out there, and that doesn't need to be in a weird, creepy, crazy way. Like, you're in control of what you do.
I'll agree that, you know, when you're going into those sites, that you shouldn't be condemning people for being their own special.
No, that's a good point. That's a good. Oh, like, did you see Susie? Did you see Karen in her latest video? Like, no, shut the fuck up. If you don't want to see Karen in her video, don't look at fucking Karen. Okay, like, it's literally that simple.
It's so crazy. Like, just took a step back and like was like, I'm an alien and I'm gonna look at this fucking human race and see this shit. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you know, right? Totally out of control, right? In your ass. Like what's going on? I mean, there's you know, there it's like you watch individuals just be completely hypocritical, like it's overwhelming sometimes.
Right.
You know, their anti-bullying message, their anti-this message, their anti-that message, and then you catch them commenting on your shit.
Tell you all about yourself.
Tell you how much of a piece of shit you are. You know, again, like I don't know, maybe we're just more conscious of, you know, the hypocrisy of all of that.
We have to.
Yeah. Please be like us.
We're raising little human beings that, you know, they're gonna see us, and we need to make sure. Someone told me today I need to do a parenting class or do a parenting book, because you know, seeing the videos, like no one has all the answers, guys. Like nobody has all the answers, but you have to be open to learning and adjusting, and you know, the world's gonna throw some crazy shit at you, so you just be there for each other, help each other out.
You know, the whole fighting each other, you know, his dad's like thing,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so simple, and he was trying to be, you know, Confucius on it, but it's so simple about us fighting each other and not regretting that.
Right.
You know, like these experiences are everything. They help us in our professional life, they help us in our personal life, and the idea of being shut down in any capacity to find each other, which is what these platforms do through their censorship. They're too concerned about the message and how it shouldn't be the message than the actual connection of you're making with another person. You know, like you know, this is how things happen. You have an idea. I don't like your idea. I ask you questions about your idea. I have a new perspective. If I want to, you know, I want to have new perspective, and it helps me see the world a different way and adjust my perspectives accordingly. You know, that's like how men are being asked right now to adjust to the perspective of women, and women being adjusted to the perspective of men. Are everything, again, like the missing element is the question, and we need to keep asking them and not letting that be a defining factor of who we are, right? Because if I ask you a question that you are triggered to having a concept about people that ask that kind of question of this kind of person, then we're never going to get anywhere. And I really don't have anything in common with you then at that point, you know, so
you nailed it. We have to be open, we have to be kind, and if you don't like something you're seeing or hearing, carry on. Just move it along. There's no reason to cause drama in situations that have nothing to do with your life. And again, I'm 47, you're going on 44. Like, we've learned this the hard way over and over and over.
Yeah.
I've been jam-packed with drama for decades. I mean, it's enough. It's enough. Like, let's enjoy this crazy ass life together and be decent to one another. And if you can't muster up some decency, go fuck off somewhere. Go somewhere else. Like, take the negativity elsewhere, because the positive vibe is crucial. It's crucial.
You told me something a long time ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but
Was it brilliant?
It was absolutely brilliant. It resonates with me. Yes. You know, it resonated with me, and it's something, again, you know, you're conscious of it, you're not conscious of it, but you know, what people say says more about them than it is about you. Mm-hmm. I consistently found myself, because again, I'm trying to have like an argument that is asking questions. I'm trying to have a debate through asking questions on a lot of issues. Mm-hmm. And I will literally play devil's advocate. Oh, I see that, but here's where I see this, and you know, whatever, and expecting that kind of response in return. More times than not, it just get abused back. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, but you're not, and then I'll try to like re-explain myself, but you're not, you know, and you're like, oh God, does I'm like, throw it to the board.
Walk away from the situation.
Because there's gotta be a way. I don't understand, like I care. I just want to know that I'm being, I mean, I could be sarcastic. I even have like a sarcastic club button. Like I get it, you know, but in certain situations, that's not what I'm trying to do. Okay? Right. You had said, like, again, like people that act like that, this is more about them and not you. And that really helps me, not all the time, you know, it's like I really have to like work it. It's kind of like the 13th step of life, you know, like in a 12-step program.
Right.
But again, it helps to, again, bring that perspective that, no, like hurt people. There's something going on, and
they want to bring you down to their misery loves company. I mean, I've heard that my entire life. They want to bring you down. It's much easier. Well, yeah, and we didn't get it to the depth of it. Now we really see it. Like, honestly, like No, we get it.
I was like spitting the you know, like, oh,
Shit in one hand, wish in the other. See which one fills up first. Is that just a Chicago thing? West Side. Okay, so we talked about a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
We dove into social media and the craziness, the good with the bad. Yeah, and you know, it's the yin with the yang. The positive and negative is going to be there and it'll weigh itself out. But if it's not more positive than negative, guys, make an adjustment.
Yeah,
because it's up to you where your life goes, you know, and don't let someone else destroy your day or your week or your month. And then you go home and you're mad at your kids and you kick the dog. Like some asshole on Facebook cursed you out for no reason. Like it's not worth it, guys.
Don't give people power over you.
Right? Well said.
It's that whether
they love what they want, they love it.
You know, there's something like people that you're close with and love. You know, that actually happens. I think less than it does with people that are complete fucking strangers. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess it depends on how much you care about people viewing you or how they view you. But like, you know, I could take it from my family much easier than I could take it from a fucking stranger any day of the week.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. Like the exact opposite.
No, like poker in the heart.
right. You know me and you're saying that, you son of a, you know, but this complete stranger, who the fuck cares what that guy thinks? Like, yeah, it's like the opposite
like that. You
so
know?
Funny.
Yes.
Okay, so next week, we're excited about next week. We're starting our interview process, so that's way exciting to us. And our first person that we're interviewing is going to touch your heart and soul like no other, because this woman chose cannabis to save her baby's life when doctors told her there was nothing else they could do, and this baby was in hospice. So that's all we're telling you today. But you better tune in next week.
At the very least, to understand the struggles that mothers are feeling when they find themselves in situations where, you know,
Western medicine,
medical authority, you know, they don't have it in their protocol, you know, and then you're kind of off yet, right? You know, so please, Jed, it's a beautiful story, and we would love to show you where they are all these years later.
Yeah, and we're gonna start doing more interviews. You know, we want you guys to learn the stuff that we know. You know, the people on our own team that are just wealths of knowledge, and people in the hemp world that are growers or, you know,
activists.
We're going to cover it all, guys. You're going to meet everybody, and
some really cool people.
Yeah, because our connections are incredible in this industry. So we're going to hand pick them for you guys, and we hope you enjoy the Hempy Hour ride that we've taken so far and will continue to take.
Yes.
Thank you all again for tuning into another episode of the Hempy Hour. One love from your Hemp Sisters. Bye, everyone.
With me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me. That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.